There is one simple tool in cinematography that can turn a bland scene like this into this. So the tool I was talking about is accent lights and practical lights. Now there's a difference between accent and practical lighting, and here is what it is. Accent lighting is focused on the subject, and it is to improve the look of the subject. And this can be a hair light or some other side light, a little colored light hitting the subject, depending on what your scene requires. Practical lighting is a hidden or in view light that is shining on the background of your scene. This could be a lamp, this could be any sort of colored light that you want to shine on the backdrop, backlighting for objects in the scene, something to make it look more visually interesting. So let's get into how Noah and I set up the lighting with accent lights and practical lights to make our shots look really good. So let's start with what I think of as the most important light, and this is our hair light right behind me, which is an accent light. So as you can see, there's a big improvement in this shot and how it looks because I am now separated from the background and I don't blend in. Now I would like to point out that this light is not only an accent light, but it is also a practical light because it appears in the shot, and so you can see it spilling light onto me and onto other things around it. This can add a little visual interest to your shot. So this is the only accent light that we use in this scene. The rest are going to be practical lights. To separate me further from the background, I want to create a different color zone in the background, and this is making the background a different color than my skin tones and what I'm wearing. So if I'm shining color accurate lights onto me, then the backdrop will want to be something a little more drastic, like green or purple or blue. So let's get some light on the background to help separate me from it. Voila! Now we have separation between backdrop and subject. And this is very, very important because for a subject to look majestic and grand, basically just look good, you need separation between the backdrop and the subject. Now, colored lights do this very, very well because if you're accurately lighting your subject and inaccurately lighting your background, it separates them very nicely. Now, what did I mean by inaccurately and accurately? Well, an accurate light, so accurate color, means very close to the sun, what the sun looks like. And that would be 6400 Kelvin and a 95 plus CRI on a LED bulb or a very color accurate halogen bulb. CRI is just a measure of how accurate a light is, and so a light that is 95 plus CRI is very color accurate, and accurate means just how close it is to the sun's light. So you can go as low as 85 CRI with your lights for video, but I'm going to suggest you use something that is 95 plus if you have the budget to do that. Before we go any further, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you do not miss any future videos. So let's move on to our practical lighting and where it should be placed in the scene. Now, practical lighting has to be kept out from behind the subject if you don't want it to cast any light on the subject and you want it to actually be seen. So a good example of some great practical lighting is this lamp over here. So when we turn it on, you can see it adds a little light to that corner of the frame, and it's an orange tinged bulb, which again separates me from the background, and it gives a little more depth to the shot, a little more visual interest. And also because the cameras are there are more shadows because the light is casting onto the cameras, making some shadows, which again gives more visual interest and a little more depth. Another practical light is a computer, and this acts a lot like an image, which you can see on the walls up here, but it does cast some light and it'll create a faint glow in the background. So as you can see, the computer adds a little bit of visual interest and it does create a slight glow. It's not much of a difference, but it is a little bit noticeable. And this again just adds a little depth and adds a little visual interest here. Now I want to go even further and add to what we saw in the beginning with our light setup with one of these. This is just a little LED panel, nice and bright, nice and powerful, and these can be hidden around your set as practical lights. These will not be visible. They will just accent stuff from afar or from behind them or under stuff. So let's add this one in. Do you notice where I put it? Well, you eagle-eyed viewers can tell that it's right behind those cameras, and it does improve the shot. It balances out the shot a little bit. Because as you see, we have the colored lights around, and then we have a warm light over here shining more accurate light. It's not very color accurate, but it's not purple or blue like the lights above. And then we have another light like that on this side. So it's about balancing out the lighting in a shot. Now you've heard me say give depth to the shot, and that's basically what we're after. We want it to look deeper and more interesting, because if you have a very flat image, it's hard to look at and nobody likes viewing it. But if you add depth by adding light and light zones with different colors, you add the depth, you add the interest, and you make people want to look at the video. Thanks for watching, and we'd like to hear how you use your accent and practical lights down in the comments. There is a video right here that you can click on that YouTube suggested. Hopefully you'll like it. Hopefully that's sunk. Synced. Yes, synced. It's not a ship. It can't sunk.